Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday, April 17th Quapaw Nation Business Committee meeting. I'd like to go ahead and get the meeting started by calling it to order. And Mr. Olson, if you could lead us in a word of prayer, please.
Bear with me for a second. Wakanda Creator, I just want to thank you for this day. Thank you for my family. Thank you for this business day here that we have for our people here. Just thank you for blessing us with many things to look forward to here in the future. Just ask that you might continue to look down on us, be with our elders, our children, those who are still affected with this COVID, all those out there might be mourning a loved one. Just ask that you continue to give us strength, courage, and guide us through our everyday life. Just ask that you might guide us here on this business day, take care of these things that we need to for our people. I'm just grateful for this opportunity to stand before you and offer a word. I'm just grateful for all things. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, sir. We could have roll call and declaration of quorum.
Jeremy? Lloyd?
Present.
Zach?
Here.
Michelle?
Here.
Parker, present. Callie?
Present.
Joseph?
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, we have a quorum. Next, the reading, correction, and approval of minutes and phone polls. Those have all been previously submitted in our packets, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Turley. Any second?
Second.
Second by, we'll go with Michelle. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries, and they are approved, minutes and phone polls. Next up, approval, disapproval of treasurer's report, which has also been submitted previously in our packets. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Callie, a second.
Second.
Second by Lloyd. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Treasurer's report is approved. Next up, approval, disapproval of reports submitted.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Guy. In a second.
Second.
We have a second by Zach. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries and the reports submitted are approved. Director's reports. Ms. Barbara Collier from the Quapaw Nation Gaming Agency. Good morning.
For the month of March, we've been very busy working on scheduling and holding show cause hearings for a few individuals that have had revocations, companies and so forth. We have postponed two of those. Two of them have come to agreements. And we were saddened to hear of Merlin Kent Jones's passing. We were going to have a hearing for, and now that has been, of course, canceled. On your reports, you have the dates and times of the hearings that are coming forward, and two of those have been postponed for personal reasons of the ex-employees, and so we will be scheduling those as soon as we can to get them satisfied. The licensing department has been very busy with changes and transfers and so forth. At Downstream and at Quapaw, there are currently 103 employees, 34 Native Americans, and 13 Quapaw tribal members. Downstream, there are currently 788 employees, 110 Native Americans, and 44 Quapaw tribal members. Vendor invoicing has been kept up to date as of in January is when we start over at the new calendar year with those. Registered and licensed are 1 construction company, 3 consultants, 31 entertainment groups, 67 exempt employees, 15 gaming vendors, 42 gaming-related vendors, 235 non-gaming vendors, and of course, at this time, no tour buses. The IT agent, as you see in your request from us for some purchases later on, is updating our Windows system and our file server. Our servers are very outdated, and they no longer will be able to update those. So that's the reason for our request for the new server purchases. He's continuing to upgrade our infrastructure that's housed within both casinos and getting prepared for his National Indian Gaming Commission audit, annual audit. Compliance department at both casinos are continuing their audits for the year. They have until September to complete those. We did hire 2 qualified applicants for compliance at Downstream this last month and are continuing on. We still have 1 position open. Audit and investigation. The auditors have completed gathering and checking all the information in response to the request for documentation on situations from the National Indian Gaming Commission. Of course, we have to meet those. And we've heard no response from them as to anything that we've submitted. The NGA investigative auditor has completed gathering all the information that NIGC has requested and is finalizing his reports for the forensic audit. And that's about it in a nutshell.
A lot of items. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Collier? Okay, thank you. Good report. And next up from the Department of Public Safety, we have Leon Crow.
Morning, Board. How are you all this morning?
Good morning. Good to see you.
Last month, Fire EMS did that 315 runs. 89 of them were fire related. I think 60 of them were back in behind Downstream area on brush fires for like a week. But thank goodness it rained and it greened up. 226 were EMS responses. Of those 226, we transported 99. One of the things I want to touch on just real quick is our community paramedic program. This is the 1 year kind of startup month, March was. He is up to 52 home visits for the month of March. Did 9 911 assists, which means he was probably in the area of an EMS call and went and helped our guys. Assisted them. He also assisted with 4 school child events. Every now and then, like Quapaw School will have a child get sick or something, and instead of calling an ambulance, they'll call our community paramedic over the child, which is a great thing. We did prepare a little thing, and Kyle did, to give to the business committee. It's kind of services provided. I give them to Zach. I hope Zach handed them out. So the community paramedic program is really exceeding, I think, even our expectations of what it would on cutting down the number of ambulance visits to repeat. And it's providing a great service. He's also working, got MOUs with the Wyandotte Nation now in place for telecommunications.
that's really wonderful to hear, and be able to visualize the services that we provide. Oftentimes it gets lost in translation, but to see it, spelled out and to understand and know that it's going towards public safety, health and wellness of our community, tribal and non-tribal citizens, it's really wonderful. So thank you for your work and the entire staff over there. Thank you. And
Guys, for your support to us.
I'm going to go ahead and put you on the spot.
Okay.
Can you give a general kind of overview of where we are with COVID-19? I know.
I know on the ambulance side, we're not seeing the number of patients that we were even a couple months ago. Our numbers have dramatically dropped. Transfers in and out of the hospital, COVID patients from one hospital to the other have dropped off dramatically. So I know overall they say some of the states are still going up, but we're not seeing it here local.
Yeah, that seems to track with our ability to administer the vaccinations in our community. And then also you see the decline in the positivity rates, even in Ottawa County generally.
Right. I know Randy, the tribe's emergency manager, we communicate daily, and the numbers for our county are still looking where we would like zero, but we're a lot better shape than we were several months ago.
Definitely. Well, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Crow? All right, good report.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next up, we have Quapaw Counseling Services, Mr. Jake White.
Morning.
Good morning. You still have my hoodie?
I do. It's hanging in my office. I'm just waiting for you to come get it.
All right, just checking. You can use it whenever, man.
It's a little too big, but it worked. As far as Quapaw Counseling Service goes, things have been good. We've been busy. Despite everything, our census has remained stable. And actually, the SAP program, that's our outpatient program, is continuing to grow with the services. Recently, just in March, transitioned back to more of a group also. So for the first time since last March, when things kind of went crazy, good thing. We had smart. We went recently implemented getting away from the charts. We had them in the big thing was we were able to finally complete our contract. And we're in the middle of the state audit for our outfit.
Those are pretty important items, though, in terms of our files turning electronically, shifting away from the paper model, and then also the Medicare. That's huge.
Big, and we are seeking other. Right now, we just have.
Wonderful. Any questions for Mr. White? Keep up the good work. Good report. Thank you. Okay, next up from the enrollment department, we have Carrie Sisson.
Morning.
Good morning.
Our current enrollment right now is 5,639, and we are getting ready for the annual election and kind of cleaning up from the special election. Question?
Now that you mentioned election, what is the date of the election?
I don't know the actual date. I want to say the 27th or 20 something,
24th?
24th.
Okay.
And the opening has started and it goes through May 17th to file. We will certify probably next week the ones that were turned in Thursday.
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Sisson?
I don't know this year, but we average probably about 20 a month. Some months it might be a little lower and some months it's higher, but it's usually about an average of 20 a month.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good report.
We were noting that there was a little bit of a jump in enrollment this year, actually within the last calendar year. So our guess was that we've seen it bump up at least 200-300 members enrolled.
Probably.
Yeah. So we don't know if this is COVID babies or or what, but that's what that was about.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, from the tag department, Miss Melissa Morris. Good morning.
Sent out renewal postcards for April. Total revenue for March was $15,381. There were 70 new vehicles registered and 237 renewals. Had a total of 5 car seats given to tribal members. And
With all of these COVID babies happening, would you mind giving more detail on the car seat program?
there's an application available for children. You can receive an infant car seat, toddler car seat, and a booster car seat. These are not yearly; they're one car seat per
Phase. Okay.
If you have a child that's not born yet, you just need to send in a pregnancy, so a copy of ultrasound, something from your doctor, due date, and yeah, it's anywhere. It'll be shipped to your home. It's not just local. It's for all tribal members.
Okay.
So I guess every year, do you see quite a bit of a spike around tax season in terms of new tags issuance? Yeah.
Yeah, every year. It usually slows down maybe from October to like December, and then it'll be all year round. This year, I think this is probably the highest month that we've had.
We're having several. It's been a good month.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Good report. Next up from the Quapaw Cattle Company and Quapaw Food Services Authority, Mr. Mitch Albright.
Good
Good morning.
Well, starting with row crops, just kind of a quick recap. We harvest 3 crops every 18 months with a 6-month fallow period. We won't have anything. We have wheat coming up here in June probably. The only question I have for you guys on that is I have been talking with NAH, it's Native American hemp, and we're nearing the end of a grow season if we're going to attempt an industrial hemp crop. Give me some idea of if we want to try it, if we want to look into it, if you want me to research some more ideas on it. They've been asking me, is the only reason I'm asking that. Hit that spring crop and get some ground ready.
How narrow?
Super narrow. So we gotta get some ground ready. We gotta kill whatever's there, and then I gotta get the seed in from the company, and then they gotta come in and do some soil testing first. So we're looking at a month into that 120-day growth cycle. Get going into one growth cycle and maybe depending on how well it grows. So what I've heard is that you can't just plant and walk away. I've always heard that you could. I can reach back out to them and see what they're thinking. They need to sign. They're just the supplier for the seed itself. So they tell me it'll do really well in our area. NRCS stuff's still going on. I finally got our well at the Kelly place paid for, a pumping plant paid for. I had to track him down. He kind of disappeared off the grid. That's getting paid for. The only thing I have left in the strike force is a crossing. As you're coming in town in Quapaw, there's a big waterway on the south side of the road. That's the only thing I have left in the strike force. Did start the second greenhouse through the strike force behind the processing facility. Getting the previous one clear. That pretty much wraps up row crop in there. 5 is spring calving. We're getting ready to wrap it up, getting ready to start drag calves and work cows and wean some fall. All going to happen here pretty quick. Finally, full staff. We went through very Moreau people trying to hire it on and pass the drug test or whatever. Carcass data's in, and we ultrasounded our steers. Next round of steers to be processed, and they look pretty good. Zach and I met with Chef Bolton in the processing facility. Headway on what's been happening. So previously, our fat steers have just been too dang big. Some of our yield and carcass issues. That's going to turn around. It's going to stop, and we're going to stop. Previously, we've always processed 3 steers a week. This doesn't work that way. When you finish fat cattle, when they're done, it's got to be processed right there. Get it backwards. We're going to stop that and put me $600 extra ahead. Processed beef. So we changed the prices up a little bit. I think just yesterday we sold $10,000 of product. 17. Jason's actually down in Locust Grove right now. So Locust Grove, Oklahoma, there's an exotic sale down there. And I don't know if you guys would ever get a chance to go, but you should. Like the Super Bowl of exotic sales in Locust Grove, Oklahoma. They have catwalks over rodeo arenas, monkeys running around everywhere, baby giraffes, you name it, it's down there. We have 18 head of heifers down there right now. Hoping they was going to sell early. He could tell me how they did. I can tell y'all. Curious to see how it's going down there.
Yeah, keep us posted.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know just as soon as he lets me know. He's pretty excited. He called me like 8 o'clock last night. Man, I'm going.
Is that like where Joe Tiger goes to sell his tigers?
So they're not too far apart.
Yeah.
The guy that runs Locust Grove lives in Pryor. He's got a zoo down there. leave it to Jason to find him and get in with him, but he is. So I'm pretty excited to see how they do. We didn't put a reserve on him, but he told us he wouldn't have any problem selling for what we wanted. Most of those animals came out of the American Prairie Reserve cow, or bison cows. They were pretty good looking animals. They sell pretty well, I hope. The white buffalo tail hair, we pulled the tail hair to pull genetic testing on him. They finally, Texas A&M finally got back with me. Now they want to do all sorts of different studies. And that's fine. Just tell me what's in him first, and then do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Get that back. His the white buffalo bachelor pad is about done. Needed, so we can move him out of the yearling pasture, get him over there, and a few buffalo ladies with him, and see what kind of calves he's going to throw. We're going to work the east herd here pretty quick. As soon as it dries up, that east side just stays really wet. Get in and out of there. They've been over there. Jason and Carlos McQuarrie has been over there quite a bit, getting that place ready to work the east herd. Feed yard this month actually had a really good month. We're nearing halfway depleting our silage capacity. We're almost right on point. We're going to get light on cattle. We always do this time of year. When the grass comes on, it's just tough to compete with them. You can compete with grass. They can do it for 60 cents. And our cost again somewhere around 80 cents. As soon as that first initial heat wave comes up, cattle will start coming back, and we'll start trying to work on some deals with the PBR to get some of their rodeo stock and feed them through the summer to kind of help us get through some of that silage. See how that goes. 2 new hires, Jared Jenkins. He's our new feed hand. He'll be out there every weekend. Cole Edwards, a Kansan that came out of Kingman, Kansas. He was cowboying up in Nebraska when I found him. Got a hold of him. He'd be riding pens with Luke and myself. All I got so far. You got any questions?
Any questions for Mitch? Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Mitch was talking about the prices. We are going to have a special sale starting April 26th until we sell out of stuff. It's going to be at the Mercantile at 304 Main Street. Hours of operation there, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'll give you an example of some of the prices. We're going to be selling whole brisket, $2 a pound. We got some dry-aged strip steak, $10 a pound. Dry-aged whole strip loin, $10 a pound. Ground beef, $3 a pound. And then I got a whole list here. We'll put that on Facebook today and get that advertised. But tribal members and tribal employees will also get an additional 15% off of those prices.
The only other thing I got a question on real quick is, guy, I drove through that composting site. I think it'll be a really good site, but we need to build some roads in there. Is it all right if we go ahead and get that done and hauling out of there?
I mean, that's fine with me. I'm fine with moving material over there. I mean, I know we've got the streets that were there previously paved and everything, but you know, I think that moving over there, kind of getting material in place would be fine. And if we've got to kind of bring in some gravel or put in some other roads, that's fine.
So is this kind of going to be on the ag side of things or environmental, or how?
No, it's not. It's not. We're talking about, so just to bring everybody up to speed, or do you want to do it? So either through USA or a number of our other ag operations, we have a pretty high demand, or at least we go through quite a bit of compost, whether this be to amend soil in remediation sites, or then also to kind of true up soil for any of our ag crops. Currently, and I guess throughout the past, we've been purchasing quite a bit of it. The Jergens Myers and J&M mushrooms, they they produce quite a bit of compost. Thing is that we produce an awful lot of green waste ourselves. We have a lot of cattle, a lot of bison, a lot of manure. So we've got all the fixings to make our own compost. It's just a question of why haven't we? So the big requirement for it would be water, but we actually have a perfect spot for it up there on the east side of Pitcher, some land that the tribe owns. There is water that runs under there that used to be for city plumbing, and so we've kind of got a plan put together to where we can set up our own composting outfit, but then hopefully moving forward in the future, we're going to be able to provide sort of a free dump site for green waste. So for any of you that are tearing a tree or a shrub out of your yard or need a place to haul off your leaves or grass clippings, it'd be a place for you to be able to go ahead and drop those off. So we're in the very early stages of it, but we do have quite a bit of, cattle produce a lot of compostable material.
Got a
So,
mountain.
Yeah. So figuring out what to do with it is kind of where we're at. But so we'd be able to move it up there into Pitcher and see if we can't start becoming a little bit more self-reliant and using or producing a commodity that we use quite a bit of. So.
All right. Does that answer your question? Did you have a question?
I just want to move it there
Okay.
out of the feed yard and over there.
In futuristically, I would like to, this is just my own personal opinion, separate the bison manure for the purpose of pottery. I think there's an interest there to use some of that for some of the coloring for the vessels, pottery vessels.
Yeah, and so hopefully we'll hear on the ITBC grant soon. We did get awarded 7 animals for processing. Did apply for a large barn for a tannery or whatever we want to use it for. Certainly something we could.
I'd like to meet with you sometime soon, like in the next week, to reach out to their point of contact to see if we can, how flexible that is, seeing as how we already have our own processing plant. Like maybe they would be more inclined to pay for 7 different parts of the processing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I think so.
Okay.
She has not contacted me yet. She said she would.
And thanks for your help on that.
You bet.
All right. Good report. Thanks, Mitch. Next up, we have our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Eric Boone.
Morning. So end of March wrapped up our first 6 months of our fiscal year. I get excited when we hit these quarters because I give you a good look of where we stand and how we budgeted for the year and what the actual results are. So for the month of March, we received revenue of 2.35 million, bringing our total for the year to 12.1 million. Actual expenses for March were 2.1 million, bringing our total for the year to 11.5 million. When our direct member benefits, our tribal member health benefit, March expenses was 342,000, bringing our total for the year to 2.5 million. Social services, March expenses were 310,000, bringing our total to 1.2 million. And our education expenses for March was 55,000, bringing our total for the year to 430,000. In our tribal enterprises, we received $250,000 in the general fund from our tribal enterprises, bringing our total for the year to. Actually, I do have one more thing. Our fiscal year 2020 audit, our financial audit, was completed in March. Once again, a clean report.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Boone? No questions. Go, we do have a question.
So far this year, our revenue is 12.1 million. And our expenses are 11.5 million on the general fund. So we're $600,000 ahead at this point. Okay. That $2 million that you heard is the amount that we've received from our tribal enterprises that contributes to fulfilling those obligations that we've budgeted in our general fund. That makes sense?
Good report. Thank you. Okay. Dropping out of director's reports on to new business down to purchase requests. The first we have coming out of maintenance, and it is a request to purchase 3 snowplows and 3 salt and sand spreaders that will fit our current trucks. Bids were taken, and Arrowhead Truck Equipment out of Bigsby, Oklahoma was chosen. They had the cheaper price with installation included for both products. And they'll even pick up our vehicles to do the install and return them once the work is completed with no additional charge. And that is in the amount of $34,203. And the funding source will come from the roads program. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion by Zach in a second. Second by Lloyd. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the maintenance request is approved. Next, we have QSA. QSA is requesting the purchase of 5 steel safe rooms with installation for the safety of remediation workers that are working around the Pitcher Carden area during severe storms in the area. This has been researched, and our deputy director of emergency management contacted several companies, and ultimately they're recommending Survivor Shelters as the best choice. These 5 steel safe rooms with installation is for $9,790. That'll come out directly out of their budget. And it's for the safety of all of our QSA workers out there in the middle of the field whenever a thunderstorm comes and tornado activity happens. So I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
I have a motion, and we have a motion by Michelle and a second by Callie. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the request is approved. Next, we have from the Quapaw Nation Marshals a crisis response system through wall imaging system, which includes a multiple communication and covert features to aid hostage and crisis negotiation, tactical and command personnel, and a safe and successful outcome when responding to an emergency crisis situation. Jack, you have anything you'd like to add on that?
This is going to be bought with the Homeland Security grant. So it is grant funded. And this will be used if they have a situation, I mean, anywhere, but the primary thought would be if we had something at downstream in the hotel, they would be able to go into a room next to the actual situation and basically look through the wall to see what's going on. Kind of a safety feature. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff.
Okay.
Sole source for it.
Yes, it is. This comes from one company out of Turkey, I believe. I don't know if it says it on there, but yeah, there's only one place that makes this camera in the whole world. Israel. Yeah, Israel, not Turkey.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Guy. Any second? Second by Lloyd. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the request is approved. Next up, we have the Environmental Department requesting to purchase an EX03, is that Sonde, with additional sensors and sensor assembly that is specific to monitoring the parameters and probes that we need to analyze for in the water at Beaver Creek at the Powwow Bridge. This will replace the one that is currently in place, but is not functioning correctly at this time. This is a piece of equipment that is required for us to meet our grant deliverables in our Water 106 award. Water Monitoring Solutions was chosen because they are able to meet all of our specifications that are required for our deliverables. And 2 other vendors were contacted for quotes. One vendor asked for more details but not send a quote, and the other vendor did not respond to the quote request. So at this time, the Environmental Department is requesting the purchase of the EX03 Sonde for $13,811. And I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Michelle,
Second.
second by Zach. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the purchase is approved. Next up, we have the Quapaw Nation Gaming Agency, and this is a new data store requesting the QNGA to go paperless for licensing applications. This is to replace what is currently in use, which is Dell EqualLogic. And in order to go paperless, well, from my understanding, it's out of service and it's at the end of its life. Is that right? Okay. And QNGA got two bids for the project. 2 bids were received. The recommendation is for bid 1, and that is from Chickasaw Telecom, which is Pure Storage. And the amount is $39,775, and that'll come directly from the Quapaw Nation Gaming Agency budget.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Lloyd. A second?
Second.
I have a second by Guy. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the request is approved. Barbara, we're going digital. Okay, next up, we have the mechanic shop, and this is a request for $13,599. And this request is for an auto lift for the new QSA shop in Pitcher. And the department is requesting or recommending the purchase of forward lift from Napa. Recommendation comes from research materials, price comparisons, and the experience with this lift. The lift has an 18,000 pound capacity and is large enough to fit large trucks for fire, EMS, Quapaw Cattle Company, QSA, and any other company that we need to send our trucks to. So, and that will come directly from the QSA funds as well.
Make a motion.
We have a motion by Zach,
Second.
a second by Callie. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the request is approved. Next up, we have from maintenance. There is a departmental need for such equipment for projects, and the availability of equipment from other departments is minimal. which interferes at times with some of the schedule and the completion dates of the maintenance department. They're requesting $28,000 for a mini excavator from Cole Equipment and Rentals. It is not put up for sale yet, but will be very soon. And they wanted to make sure that all their ducks were in a row and get prior approval before the excavator gets put up for sale, because they think it'll sell immediately. Just to reiterate, Donna sent Michael, our mechanic, to go check it out, and he said everything was on the up and up, and he also was in line with this recommendation.
Okay, just a question. Since we have all these businesses, why do we not think of all the things that we need before we open them and purchase all those things before we start the business? That way we're already prepared. It would seem that with everyone being on board within the businesses and these enterprises, that everybody would know exactly what would be needed at any given time. But it seems like every year we've got something coming up. I'm just saying it kind of.
So I would say this is governmental affairs, not necessarily business. And with the business, they budget for those in advance, same as tribal government. This is just one of those things that have needed to happen for some time with the tribal government side.
I guess just to put a bow on that, this is for our maintenance department. So anytime that we'll have like crushed sewer lines or water lines anywhere around, which happens here often, but also, anywhere out at elder housing, mini excavator will give you the ability to go out and kind of dig the trench and kind of lay any of those pipes, or, pull anything else out of the ground that we're able to do. So
I just meant I would have figured we would have already had that available. That's where I'm going with it. I really truly would have thought that.
I actually think that they had one, that it's just reached the end of its life. And because I've seen one parked out here before. So it's, every now and then cow gets sent to the glue farm. So we just need a new one.
A question on the law marshal's whatever camera through the wall scanning. You didn't give a price on that.
I believe I did in the beginning. It was for $13,811.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry if I omitted that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. $49,156.30. And that is from the Homeland Security Grant. I'm sorry, we got mixed up because I kicked it to Zach and kind of threw things off. My apologies. $49,156.30 from the Homeland Security Grant. Are we in discussion? Any other questions, discussion items? All right. Okay.
I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve with the excavator. Second from Zach. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the motion carries and the mini track excavator is approved for purchase. Next, we have a very similar situation where this is a mini track loader, same parameters, the same deal. The only difference is the amount, and it's for $26,000, and this will be deducted from the maintenance budget as well. Different piece of equipment, though. Yeah. Oh, the sourcing. So it's grant funded. Okay. So it will not come out of the maintenance budget then. And it'll come from the roads grant. Okay, good to know. So it's on the record. I'll entertain a motion to approve the request.
Move.
We have a motion by Lloyd in a second. Second by Callie. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the purchase request is approved. We have for tribal headquarters and the tribal complex, the signage. Actually, hold on just a second. All right. For the mechanic shop, we have 2 tire machines and a wheel balancer. This is also coming out of the QSA budget. The request is for 2 tire machines, wheel balancer. One machine is for a large truck and the other is for passenger vehicles. And the recommendation is to purchase the equipment from Napa. This recommendation also came from research materials, price comparisons, and the amount of the request is for $21,297. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
We have a motion by Zach, a second.
Second.
Second from Guy. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the purchase request is approved. Next, we have a signage for our tribal headquarters, which is a directional sign to be installed at the intersections of 50 Road and 137 by the OLC. And in addition, a tribal complex sign is also included to be installed in the existing flower bed out front here in the tribal complex. And the company that is recommended through the process, through the RFP process, the recommendation is Allen Signs. Their quote was the lowest bid for the project, and this will come from the Gen Fund, and the amount is for $18,958.
Make the motion.
We have a motion to approve by Callie.
Second.
We have a second by Michelle. Any discussion? Wish I could click a button and show you the sign and how cool it's going to look, but we'll follow up with that. That's all I have for my part of the discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstention? The motion carries and the purchase request is approved. Last up is from the IT department, and this is a security system project. We'll provide alarms and surveillance systems at all locations. And from my understanding, this just kind of brings us to be consistent across all business entities and the tribal government side, if I'm not mistaken, but I could get some clarity.
Yes, this consolidates everything down to one vendor, one system. So we don't have 4 different security systems, 4 different camera systems out there. It brings everything to
I like the sound of that.
one. Easier to
it-
manage.
Easier to manage, and it gets complex because you're having to deal with so many vendors at the same time. And now this will all bring us up on the same level, consistent across the board.
Yes.
Okay.
Does this also include those places that may have not have had security?
Yes, it does. It includes the picture location, which does not have security.
Yeah, go ahead and mention it.
Well, I guess just to highlight some of the need on it, and Mitch might be able to comment, but we had a truck stolen out of one of the yards. They ultimately found it up in Columbus. Yeah. Then they got it. Was it a baler, or did we find that one? It'd be nice if we had a camera.
Or 2.
I will make a motion to approve.
Just to clarify, the amount of this security system is $87,000, $87,065.53. And this will also come out of the IT budget as well.
Yes, that's for 15 buildings, by the way.
Okay.
Vendor is it?
Security project.
TS3.
PS3.
So if we already have our own security system and surveillance, is this just combining it all into one so that it's all monitored by one place?
Yes. So what we have is a couple different security systems, a couple different camera systems. This is going to consolidate them to one umbrella. So that way we can monitor from any location. Marshals will be able to pull up any camera if they need to be in emergency situations. So we're just consolidating everything under one umbrella, basically.
So then there's going to be an outside monitor in case something goes wrong, not internal.
Yes.
Like if we're at the casino and there's something going on, we got to wait for the outside monitor to tell us how to react, or is that just?
This has not, the casino surveillance is separate from us.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. It sounds like you're trying to incorporate it all into one. And it's like, I just wanted to double check on that.
Yes, this is just for the government / enterprise businesses.
All except the casinos.
Okay.
Just because they're regulated differently. There's
That's what I was wondering, because it was like, we're at different guidelines than everybody else. And that's why I was like, it sounded like you were saying we're all under one blanket or one umbrella. And I was just wanting to make sure that, are you sure about that?
Yes.
So if this is just covering 15 buildings, how's that going to keep bailers from getting stolen?
Yeah, part of it's going to be equipment yards too, though. So we're going to be able to have outside surveillance.
Part of the buildings are already covered by this same company. So this is just bringing everything else up to that.
We've got
Part of it is
trucks
not-
and equipment and stuff sitting out in lay down or equipment yards that have no video surveillance, no nothing. So whenever a baler or a truck disappears, you know, we won't be able to see who took it, be able to get a good look at who it was or whatever. So it gives us a kind of the eagle eye over everything that we've got. But I mean, we've got a lot of buildings on this list. So, but also kind of centralizes the ability to watch all of it. So, you know, rather than, you know, if you had to be in the IT offices over here to see if somebody was breaking into QSA, then that doesn't really help the marshals, you know, because if it's after hours, they won't know until the next morning.
We need to protect our assets and prosecute when we have evidence. So
Any other discussion? I don't know if I want to list the buildings. I don't
Wanna
know if
tell
I want to
everybody?
disclose in public forum where our
I agree with
cameras
that.
are, to better protect our assets.
Right.
Exactly. Or where they're not.
Good point.
If there are no further discussion items, I'll entertain a motion to approve the request.
I made the motion to approve the request.
We have a motion by Callie. Second.
Second.
We have a second by Lloyd. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstention?
Abstain.
We have one abstention by Zach.
And I'm abstaining because I was on the committee that was involved in a lot of this discussion. So
Man of integrity. All right. One abstention. The motion carries and the request is approved. Thank you, Mikey. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have approval or disapproval of resolutions. And if you could, Guy, could you take that first one?
We have a resolution 041721A enacting the Quapaw Nation Juror Code. I think as many of you are aware with the recent holding in McGirt, it is going to start putting more responsibility on individual tribes that have an established reservation like ourselves. I guess under our is it 1833 treaty, the Quapaw Reservation has never been disestablished, and so as a result, we have been informed, but it's something that we're well aware of, that we're going to have to start processing a number of our own criminal cases and criminal dockets. As a result, we had no existing code for how to be able to put together a jury, where we're going to draw a jury pool from, who would sit on it, how many members. So this gives us a framework to move forward and kind of, exist in kind of this post-McGirt atmosphere.
Okay. So resolution 041721A, a resolution enacting the Quapaw Nation Juror Code. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Guy. Second.
Second.
Second by Callie. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the resolution is adopted. Lloyd, could you take that next one, please?
Resolution number 041721-B. Resolution authorizing the sale of the Quapaw Nation restricted interest in Chad in the Bird Dog Chat Pile located in the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation. That would be the nation owns 324 1200 interests, and that would be in the amount of $2.10 per ton.
$2.10 per ton. I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
Make the motion to adopt.
We have a motion to adopt.
Second.
And a motion by Callie and a second by Zach. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? All right. The motion is adopted. The resolution is adopted. Sorry. Zach, you want to take the next one?
This is a resolution 041721C, resolution designating the Quapaw Nation representatives to the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association, or O-I-G-A for short. And we will be paying the dues for O-I-G-A tribal membership of $500 with this. And the Quapaw Nation appoints the following delegate and alternate delegate as the nation's representatives to O-I-G-A. Mine does not have any names on it.
It's Callie and Josh Seiler. Callie Bowden and Josh Seiler for the record, and we'll be sure to put those on the resolution once we get the signatures. Thank you, Zach. I'll entertain a motion to approve or adopt.
Move to adopt.
I have a motion to adopt by Zach. I have a
Second.
second by Michelle. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
Callie abstains. And the motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Michelle, you want to take the next one?
Resolution number 041721-D, a resolution authorizing the sale of the Quapaw Nation's restricted interest in chat in the St. Joe chat pile located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation.
Just as part of the discussion, it's not $1.50. What did you say, Guy? I'm seeing 13.5 interest in restricted chat in the amount of $1.50 per ton, totaling $363,115.98 for the share in the St. Joe chat pile.
Move to adopt.
We have a motion to adopt.
Second.
A second. So we have a motion to adopt by Guy, second by Lloyd. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstention? We have an abstention by Jeremy. And with that, the motion carries and the resolution is adopted. Callie, got this one?
Resolution number 041721E is a resolution requesting the bond be waived on an agricultural lease on trust restricted land located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation for farming and grazing, and to authorize the execution of the lease on behalf of the Quapaw Nation. For a total of 29.8 acres. These are the tribe's 12th and 108th trust interest.
Move to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion by Guy to adopt, a second by Zach. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstention? The motion carries and the resolution is adopted. Go ahead.
Resolution 041721-F through I would be authorizing signatories for Downstream Casino, Quapaw Casino, Saracen Casino, as well as the Highway 166 Improvement District. since we have brought on new management at a couple of our different casinos. We have a new CFO at Downstream, and Downstream also handles the financial books for Quapaw Casino. We will need to be adding him on to a user for our bank accounts. And then additionally, we have a new CFO, or well, fairly recent CFO down at Saracen Casino. This would be adding signatory authority for Treasury for Saracen, and then this would be also changing names over from old executive management over a Highway 166 Improvement District, which is a piece of land that is located just north of Downstream up on Highway 166. It's a tract of land that the tribe receives a tax rebate on every year. It's pretty de minimis, but for whatever reason, we have to have a panel for it.
And are we thinking we can take all of those up in one fell swoop, one motion?
It's the same resolution over and over. So,
all right. Resolution 041721E, no, excuse me, F through I, so FGHI, are all going to be taken up on the same motion. I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
Move to adopt resolution F through I.
We have a motion by Zach, second by Lloyd. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the resolutions are adopted at this time. So we'll go into okay. This month we have our donation requests that have been turned in. The first one is for the Ottawa County Boys and Girls Club, where they serve 150 kids and teens at 2 clubhouses and 1 school-based site. And the request is for $1,000 because that is what has been previously donated in years past. And the details of the event states the club would love to partner with the tribes to meet the needs of Native youth.
I'll make a motion to donate $1,000 to the Ottawa County Boys and Girls Clubs.
We have a motion by Zach to approve the donation request for the amount of $1,000 to the Ottawa County Boys and Girls Club.
Second.
We have a second by Callie. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstention? The motion carries and the donation request is approved. Next up, we have Malachi Wesley, and this is requesting $1,000 or any amount would be greatly appreciated for nonprofit basketball organization. It is a traveling 16 and under travel basketball squad, and it's April. It's ongoing now until August, and he plans on recognizing the Quapaw Nation donation through Facebook, Twitter, social media that he's involved with, and then possibly a local newspaper, and will probably be in the tribal newsletter later on. He is a player for the Victory Traveling Basketball Organization that is organized by Victory Ministry and Sports Complex in Joplin, Missouri.
Chairman, I move to donate $500 to Malachi Wesley.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the donation request made by Lloyd for the amount of $500. And we have a second by Michelle. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the donation request is approved. So good luck to Malachi out there on the hardwood. Next, we have Nate Harkins from the Latimer County Junior Club. And this is a livestock sale and donation request. And Nate is a Quapaw tribal member. And the reason for the sale is to help promote ag education and provide some of the students funds to purchase care for their show animals. And the tribe's donation will be added to any money already donated to Nate. And they will recognize the tribe in the local newspaper, on social media, and we'll get a thank you card. Okay. And this is in the amount of $300, the request.
I'll make a motion to donate 500.
We have a motion.
We did. I thought we bumped it up last month too. We just done the 3. I will take my motion back then.
So you're retracting your motion or amending your motion?
We'll amend the motion to 300 to match the previous donation.
Okay. So we're amending the motion, Zach's original motion, his motion.
Second.
And we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstention? Now that the original motion includes the 300 amount, changed from the 500 amount. Thanks, Zach.
Second.
Now I will entertain. We have the original motion, and it's been amended, and now it's been seconded by Guy. Now we go to discussion. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstention? Okay, the motion carries and the request is approved. Next, we have the Miami War Dog Soccer Booster Club. This donation was tabled at the March meeting to receive further information. And what we received is that the team has one Quapaw tribal member, along with 7 other members from other tribes, including Ottawa, Choctaw, Creek, and Cherokee. There's a total of 22 players on the boys team. The girls team, however, does not have any Quapaw tribal members, but there are 9 players that are members of other tribes, including Seneca, Cayuga, Chickasaw, and Cherokee, and there are 18 girls on the team. And they thank us for considering their request to be a sponsor, and they appreciate any help we're able to offer at this time. And the request is a $250 team donation or $500 game day sponsorship.
Upon verification of the tribal member, I will make a motion to donate $500.
Okay. Upon clarifying that the Quapaw tribal member on the team is an enrolled tribal member, Callie makes the motion to approve a $500 game day sponsorship for the Miami War Dog Soccer Booster Club. I have a second? We have a second by Michelle. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the donation request is approved. Next, we're going to be going into open forum. And at this time, since taking my oath of office every month, we've attempted to recognize our loved ones and our relatives within our tribe and our community that have gone on, passed on, and are no longer here with us. And I try to do it like from meeting to meeting. So since last month's meeting, the names that have been given to me are Greg Red Eagle, Danny Good Eagle, Claudia Adams, and at this time I'll take any other names from the BC or the audience. Okay. At this time, I request a moment of silence for these individuals. Gonna so I really wanted to start the open forum with a few general announcements and just sharing information that has continued to come up. First off, the 2021 General Council will be July 4th at 9 a.m. at the Pavilion at Downstream. A couple notes to that. There will not be any door prize given this year, but there will be gas vouchers distributed to those who attend. There will also be surveys and other information collecting sessions to better inform the decisions of our tribal government and provide a strategic plan for years to come. Is that time to say goodbye? Is that what that song was? Pavarotti? Yeah, that's what I said. There's no door prizes this year, no money giveaways. The only thing we're going to be doing are free gas vouchers distributed to those in attendance. Thank you, Callie. There will also be surveys and other information collecting sessions to better inform the decisions of our tribal government and provide a strategic plan for years to come. We will likely have a constitution session where every tribal member will have the opportunity to participate in our constitutional process. And while I am bringing up the constitutional process, do we have Roman on the Zoom? I was planning on going through my list, but I think what I'll do is open it up to Roman to give an update on the Constitutional Committee and some of the processes that we're going through right now. And if you could, Roman, could you speak to that and give all of us an update?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for letting me share for a few minutes. The Constitution Committee has been meeting since November. We are a 5-person committee, and the direction that we are headed right now is that we are very interested in getting as much community engagement as we can. So what we have done is we put together a survey to be sent out to one digitally. So whoever wants to take the survey and provide feedback through SurveyMonkey, you could do that either through a link on on your computer or on your phone. We're also going to be sending out a hard copied snail mailed survey to be sent back to us. And I am currently working with, talking with the enrollment committee in what the best process for that would be, because what we're going to do is we're going to request roll numbers to be submitted along with the surveys. And that will be the only information that we're really requesting as far as identifier. And that's to help us ensure that we're not getting multiple feedback from the same couple of people. So we're not going to have any access to who those roll numbers belong to. All we are doing with those is making sure we have no duplicates and that they are of legal age to vote. And yeah, if there's any question or any dispute, those will be handed over to the enrollment committee. We've already let them know that, hey, we don't want to know who these belong to. We want this to be as open and free as possible. So that's the goal that we have right now, and we could expect to be sending that out in the next week or two, as soon as we get some confirmation and some things nailed down with Carrie and the enrollment department. And from there, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be collecting all of that and compiling all that information to give back to the general counsel. At general counsel, we're going to let everybody know, hey, here's the results of what the feedback that you're getting us, and what this is going to do. This is going to give us the trajectory and the framework of our constitution. And at general counsel, what we'll be doing is we'll have a reporting session to let you know what the feedback is. We'll have some tables set up to allow additional conversation. We'll, if you haven't been able to fill out a survey, you could fill out a survey at general counsel, preferably before, though, to be included in all of the data that we're putting together. And then from there, we're going to, we anticipate this to be or I'm anticipating this to be another 2.5 years before we actually have something fruitful to be voting on at general counsel. And I say that because with the amount of community engagement that we want this document to be the tribes. We don't want to tell our people, this is how you're going to be governed. We want our people to tell us how they want to be governed. And this is what is going to take the most amount of time. So we could anticipate additional in-person meetings. What I'm anticipating is at least 3 a year, where we could all get together and talk about where we are as a people and where we are with this document. And again, to continue to get additional feedback from that. It's kind of a shotgun blast of information, but that's where we are right now. Does anybody have any questions?
Roman, do you still intend on having a special breakout session during general counsel, or after general counsel, perhaps, where individuals can have the opportunity to come in and engage with the Constitution Committee?
Yeah, good question. Thank you. We're going to have a couple of rooms set up, probably addressing different topics, so that if somebody wants to come in and engage in a conversation about business or about ethics and accountability, they could participate in that. If they want to sit in a conversation or even generate a conversation about cultural affairs, they're more than welcome to do that. But yes, we will definitely be available after general counsel, and we'll have some space provided for those conversations to take place.
Any other questions for Roman? Okay, Roman. Well, we appreciate the update. That's a good report. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So dropping down to my next announcement, I'm going to put, yeah, we're in open forum now, but I have the floor. Yeah, I'll open the floor up. I'm running down my list of announcements here. And as such, since we have the chairman of the powwow committee if we could make an announcement. Do we have the official dates for our Quapaw powwow? July 1st through the 4th. You heard it, folks. Any other things, comments you'd like to say? Okay. I think he's coming at you right now.
Okay, I just was saying we're basically ready with the dance part of it. I just have to get some stuff uploaded onto the website. So vendors forms and things to that nature. Fortunately, I don't know who's handling registration for campers. So I guess Donna and Steve. So that's where we're at right now. I think Steve has already printed some forms for me. So hopefully we're good to go on that. But other than that, there's still some legwork to do on the back side of it. So
for sure,
we're working on it slowly but surely. And since I don't work for the tribe, I work for a billion-dollar company. It's kind of hard for me to carve out time other than after work. So we're getting to it slowly but surely. So if you can push it out there by word of mouth, July 1st through the 4th, we'll be having powwow, full-blown powwow. So hope to see everybody there. Thank you.
Thank you. That's great news, and appreciate the hard work that you and the committee do every year, year in and year out. That's a lot of hard work to be able to put on a 4-day powwow, and a lot of folks don't understand the energy and the time and the effort that goes into making that event a success every year. And whatever you need, just let us know, and we'll be glad to support that endeavor. So thank you, Mike. Last month, the Quapaw Nation participated in a repatriation project in collaboration with the Miami, Shawnee, and Indiana University to rebury 600 ancestral remains and funerary objects at the Angel Mounds Historic Site in Evansville, Indiana. It was truly a remarkable and spiritual experience to retrace our tribal history to the time of the Mississippian mound culture, and all along the Ohio River. We're thankful for the efforts of Carrie V. Wilson and other individuals that helped, including Everett Bandy, Jeremy Olson, Solomon Jones, Bill Griffin, Betty Getke. And I believe we did the best we could to honor our ancestors by helping them find a final resting place. And it was nice to establish those relationships and open the discussion for future visits back to Angel Mounds. The Quapaw Nation Easter egg hunt was a successful event. The weather that day was fantastic, and we had a large crowd of participants. We had a good meal, lots of eggs, lots of prizes, and lots of little Indian kids running around the powwow grounds with smiles on their faces. So that was nice to see. It was a good day, and I want to thank everyone that volunteered and helped. Especially want to thank Jade Waters for organizing the event. So, Gunagay. Our culture committee has begun meeting again and is collaborating with our tribal museum and library to resume cultural classes and workshops. So be on the lookout for these programs coming soon. Our Sihota Seed Library is now available for any tribal member who wishes to actively participate in strengthening food sovereignty. These seed packets can be picked up at the Quapaw Farmers Market from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if you have any questions, we have information rolling on our social media, our website, and the point of contact is Michelle, right? All right, the point of contact is Michelle. Bless you. Yes, Michelle Bowden. Also, the Quapaw Nation Fitness Center is now fully open again and ready to help you reach your health and wellness goals. And, you know, with the Quapaw Powwow right around the corner, now's the time. Get it in your head, folks. Quapaw Nation just hosted the first Intertribal Science and Technology Engineering Art and Math Fair. The winners will be announced with an awards banquet to follow sometime this fall. And we had pretty good participation there for a first shot at this. I think we had, I want to say, close to 30 participants. So that was really great. And, you know, I think it's something that we can definitely build upon in the future. And applications should be available soon for the inaugural class of the Quapaw Nation Tribal Youth Council. The Tribal Youth Council was created to develop and refine the skills of our tribal youth through development trainings in government, business, culture, and community to better prepare our, you know, future leaders, our future tribal leaders. So details and information will soon be available. As Secretary Treasurer mentioned earlier, there are pending cases in state court right now involving Indian offenders, which call into question the status of the Quapaw Reservation. This is an issue that I continue to monitor at the state and federal level. With the McGirt decision of the United States Supreme Court last year, reservations of the Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole have all been upheld. And the Quapaw Reservation was guaranteed to us in our treaty with the United States in 1833. And once, and it's never been disestablished by an act of Congress. And so once the decision is rendered that upholds our reservation status, Quapaw will assume jurisdiction over certain criminal offenses inside our reservation boundaries. This is an extremely important time in the history of our tribe. And in order to assure that we are prepared when that time comes, we convened a task force made up of our own Quapaw Nation marshals, tribal court judges, tribal prosecutors, tribal court clerk, court staff, and our realty department. And the task force has begun to meet regularly to discuss and prepare for this moment, and will be an ongoing process to prioritize the protection and the exercise of our tribal sovereignty within our reservation boundaries. I'm excited to announce the creation of the Quapaw Post. The Quapaw Post is the official news and information outlet of the Quapaw Nation, and I encourage all of our tribal members who want tribal information and news directly at their fingertips to please visit the site thequapawpost.com and subscribe to receive notifications the moment that news happens. So looking forward to what comes of that. Just another information outlet to be able to, you know, be transparent and show our people what it is that we're doing here on a daily basis and how we're helping to govern our tribe and better serve our community. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development announced just over $90 million in grant awards to 24 tribes across the country to support housing, construction, housing rehabilitation, and critical infrastructure projects. And out of the 574 federally recognized tribes, Quapaw Nation was one of those 24, and will be receiving a grant award of approximately $2.3 million to support our housing projects. This is only the second time that HUD has awarded this type of grant under this program. So I want to give a big thank you to Brian Ross and Rachel Cravens in the grant department for their hard work on this. I would also like to recognize the hard work of Kim Messer, who was instrumental in the tribe being awarded this grant. But also many other tribal grants throughout the year. And I personally hated to see Kim leave. but she said it was time for her to move on. So we want to wish her well in her future endeavors. April 15th, as we mentioned earlier in the meeting, April 15th marked the date of filing for candidates wishing to run for office as a member of this business committee. This year we have 4 open seats, including vice chair and 3 general member seats. And the date of the election is July 24th. And I encourage everyone to register and vote in this upcoming election. On April 16th, the special tribal prosecutor filed indictments in our Quapaw Nation courts on former tribal members or tribal officials, John Berry and Tamara Smiley Reeves, on charges of embezzlement, conspiracy, abuse of office, and other criminal offenses. And we'll continue to update our tribal members whenever those updates come to us. And with that, that completes my discussion and what I'd like to bring forward in open forum. There are several other things that I did not touch upon because I want to kick it to Guy, our Secretary Treasurer, in his capacity to let him explain some of the things that are happening on the business side.
So as we discussed earlier, or as our tribal CFO, Mr. Eric Boone, kind of discussed, we're the budget and many of our functions, benefits departments here at the tribe are pretty dependent upon financial distributions from our businesses. But you know, chief among them would probably be gaming. We've had a really strong month of March. Actually, I think to record, it's the strongest, if not most profitable month the downstream casinos had in its near 13-year history. But rounding out this quarter, you know, we're finishing up the first 6 months of the fiscal year. It's interesting to kind of step into the position to run a business kind of during an unbelievable economic downturn that we've seen sort of spawn from COVID-19. But I think during a time with fairly flat revenue, we're looking at an unbelievable growth of profit there at the property. I think that most transitions with businesses, that if you could see somewhere between 7 and 10%, people will do backflips, but we're somewhere around 43 to 45% growth. So we're operating at about 143% of what we have historically in a profit margin. So what this means is that really there's a lot of attention now on this property, I guess, with not only our creditors, but other banks and lending institutions on Wall Street. Financing has been something of an issue for that casino. You know, the strategy has probably never been in a position to where it was to reduce the principal debt on the property. We have been in a position now to where we have been actively deleveraging how much debt that we've got on the property. We're in a position where we're paying down principal for the first time ever. With kind of the excess profits and excess cash flow, it puts us in a really great position to go out and get better financing, get traditional term loans and bank loans, you know, similar to what you would have with a bank loan where on your house, where every payment you are earning principal or earning equity in your own asset, or at least the asset that's in your name. So, you know, it's been a round the clock full-time job right now. But I've been talking to every major bank or lending institution in the country right now, and there's an unbelievable appetite to look at that and be able to help us work through sort of a potential refinancing and get us into a great position to where, you know, ultimately we can get those properties paid off. And as a result, you'll be able to see more unrestricted distributions come from those properties, and we can see the benefits from it over here at the tribal administration. So you could see things like utility assistance and, housing, education, higher education funding, all of which that we could expand, but unfortunately are largely restricted right now. We continue to see unbelievable growth with the new property down in Arkansas. We talk about profit margins and everything on these properties, and it's interesting to see in the state of Arkansas that has never had gaming. We're used to it here because, since the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act in 1988, gaming has been a staple here, but we're kind of this shiny new object or kind of like the new zoo animal in Arkansas. They don't know what to make of us yet, but revenue continues to increase, which is great. I think what is more impressive is how well the team down there is able to operate the property in such a profitable manner. I think that, any business, in order to survive would have to hit a 15% profit margin. Somewhere between 20 and 40% would be your benchmark of success. They're operating that property about 54% profit margin. So 54 cents on every dollar that walks into that building, that's unheard of. It's unbelievable, really. So it's very encouraging to see the growth down there. It's very encouraging to see the state of the businesses and kind of where they're trending towards. We have a number of other smaller businesses on the tribal books as well. Many of you are aware of the processing plant, cattle, coffee, and everything. We're also looking to see good improvements there. The little casino, Quapaw Casino, having one of its best years ever. So, we're in a great place right now, and it's putting us in a really great position to start expounding upon some of these goals and some of these projects that we'd really like to see. Some of the benefits for tribal members, similar to like this grant right here for that $2.3 million for housing. It would give us the ability to be able to stack additional funds on those, build additional homes, in addition to expanding our budget for higher education, for example. It hasn't grown a cent in about a decade. It really needs to. I mean, we really got to invest in the education of our youth, really encourage them to kind of go out and seek out those professional degrees and educations that poise them to be able to come back here, because I'm going to have blue hair one day and I won't be able to walk around and I need somebody to help me out. But no, it's very encouraging. So we're tracking in the right direction. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barker. Do any other business committee members have anything to say in open forum? Okay. So first to the podium, we have Miss Abigail. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a few questions.
Okay.
And I'm going to start off with the little bit talk about Quapaw Casino, which has become the child awarded by the state, apparently, because most of our money and our concern lies with downstream, Saracen, everywhere but Quapaw Casino, and it kind of looks like it's a rundown place for trash. That's what it looks like. When you go in there, there's not many employees. I understand.
Hey, what's your question?
Why is nothing being done for Quapaw Casino?
So we are actively meeting with, actually, Callie, would you like to take this?
We are in the process right now of doing a feasibility study on Quapaw Casino to see if it is feasible to build a new building closer to the road. It's in the works right now. We are contacting Klaus Robinson to do the study. And once it's done, we'll go from there. But yes, I agree. We all agree.
And from a person who gets hangry, I'm going to want the breakfast ham back as soon as possible.
And you know, the employment issue is an issue for everybody right now. These stimulus checks have created an issue that's a domino effect right now. So everybody's having a hard time getting staff to come in. That is a struggle that Quapaw Casino is currently working on. We have talked with them. They're looking at different strategies to help the kitchen out. You know, that is the worst department to work in. It has a lot of turnover. And, you know, right now service across the board is horrible, and, you know, people are treating employees horrible, and it's ongoing. So they're doing their best to get staffed up and work on the kitchen as well. But yeah, we are paying attention to it, I promise.
Thank you. Now let's go with the case that's been brought to our tribal court. Being that we've had so many issues with impropriety, are we trying to set precedent by going after past elected officials within our own government? Or are we doing this because we don't want other people in our business to know exactly what's going on? And for the record, can tribal members attend the actual court hearings?
You want to go? It's open. We don't have any precedent. Our tribal court is in its infancy. So this is going to be an exercise of not only our tribal court system, but also our tribal law that we have in place, both on the criminal code and the civil code. The business committee does not have anything to do with that, other than we represent the Quapaw Nation, downstream development, and Saracen development.
Can you elaborate on what outside sources besides the actual auditors that were involved in investigating the crimes committed against the Quapaw Nation by the past elected officials?
Outside sources involved, repeat your question. I'm sorry.
Was the BIA involved? Was other outside sources involved in investigating the criminal activity that is?
There are outside sources that have been involved in this entire process. Whether or not they're involved at the tribal level for these tribal actions, no, because it is a strictly tribal matter. There are other things that we can't comment on, other involvement. Like Barbara mentioned in her report, the NIGC paid us a visit. And, you know, we're addressing their questions and their concerns. And we've been cooperative in their questioning.
Okay. And last but not least, I don't generally speak on those lawsuits because I really don't care about them. But the bear case, appropriations, and all of that, because we know a lot of people don't read or listen. So I'm asking this question. First, I'm going to make a statement because I know for several years, the business committee, tribal leaders were pretty much with their foot up Washington's backside. Why are our chairman, secretary, vice chair not going to Washington and fighting for the bear to be appropriated on behalf of the tribal members? And I say that because, now I'm not knocking you, Guy, but Guy did make a comment on a post that each tribal member, if they wanted it to be appropriated, that they needed to write their senator and congressman. Now, I can't remember the date, but I do remember it was a general council and the vote was put to the floor to give the business committee not only the voice, but the actual voice that was given was only for these lawsuits, because I remember that. But everybody took it as though they were giving their voice to the BC completely, and therefore the BC was supposed to speak up for them, but that never happened. So the people thought that, well, we gave you our voice, but technically we still have a voice. We're just supposed to ask you and talk to you, but that don't happen. So I'm asking, why are you guys not pushing, fighting our senators and our Congress and the Appropriations Committee to get this pushed forward and paid out to your people, our people?
So just because you don't actively see us taking trips to Washington, D.C. or pushing that agenda forward, I want to give some assurances that there are conversations being had with our congressional delegation. We've had good conversations with them, and there is movement. And in fact, Guy, would you like to give us an update?
So I guess just to provide some civics class with this, though, that, the lawsuit itself was settled, a dollar amount was reached. Now it goes through the appropriations process. In order for the settlement to be appropriated, it would have to pass a vote by the House and Senate, but it has to be attached to something, continuing resolution. But in order to get on the continuing resolution, you have to have authorization, which also requires a vote and passage by the House and Senate. That's another piece of legislation. This is the phase that we're in right now, is actually pushing the authorization bill forward. So I actually wrote the legislation on that. And so it's been presented. We have several sponsors actually with our local federal delegation itself. Just had a conversation with House Legal Counsel, which I used to work in House Legal Counsel for Oklahoma, but federal government, House Legal Counsel, it's managed to make it through there. Sometimes it's a fairly lengthy process, but it's made it out unscathed, by the way, and they didn't change anything on it, which is great and unusual. But actually this week, Tuesday, I'm going out to DC to start pounding pavement and going around and making sure that every one of them is aware. But historically speaking, the pandemic obviously wrinkles things, presidential and well, I guess all of the House of Representatives were up for election, so they don't really have the time or attention span to give it to us, at least last fall. We do talk with them frequently. It's mostly via Zoom, but in-person meetings are rare. But this one now that everything is past legal muster, it's been introduced in committee, it's out of committee, we're looking at going to the floor for authorization, and then we can hit that CR. So I promise you, there's a lot of work being done on it, and the foot is still squarely up the backside, as you said. But no, I'll be up there meeting with lots of members of our own federal delegation to make sure that this is at the forefront of their mind as one very, very high on their priority list.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Thank you.
But I can't attend the court hearing, right?
It's open. No comment. Mr. Jones. Good morning, sir.
I just want to bring up something that we kind of touched on a little bit that Callie mentioned, is there's a lot of employment opportunity within the nation, and specifically Quapaw Casino needs help. It's economy is kind of funny right now as far as human capital goes. So if you know of anybody that's looking for an opportunity, and I'm sure that Quapaw Casino is not siloed, there's plenty of opportunity within our nation. We offer benefits and competitive wages, and those wages don't run out as long as you show up to work. So, no timeline on that.
That's right.
Yes, our nation truly is great to work for. Great benefit package, everything. So thank you for coming up here and saying that.
Appreciate it. Mr. Owens.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good. I got just one question as far as the job availability is concerned. And this is not a question for me, but this is a question for, there may be some tribal members that don't have the cleanest past. And I know there wouldn't be some jobs available for those that, they may be overcoming a felony, going through drug court, going through community sentencing or whatnot. Something to show they're making progress. Would there be jobs available for people that route?
Okay. Would somebody from our HR like to respond? Answer that phone.
We do have some jobs that felons can hold at certain departments, and some that they cannot based on like the grant funding and things like that. But fill out an application, get it into HR, and we can get it to appropriate departments. QSA is one. We need laborers. We need, things like that out there that is available, and just like the daycare, things like that. But yes, there is jobs available.
I know that's with the infrastructure. The question with the casino, I know there's some things that gaming licenses, backgrounds is a heavy dependence on that, but are there anything that maybe felons could apply for within the casino, like maybe maintenance, facilities, something like that?
There are some positions at our casinos that are non-key, like food and beverage, for example, that people can apply for with felons. When it comes down to the gaming license part, it'll depend on the position and what they can and can't do, and it depends on what the actual felony is too. We don't want somebody who has theft on their background and put them in our cage.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Do you have individuals that you know that keep calling
Just
on that phone?
Oh, just people that come to mind. I know there's a lot of people that may not be getting stimuluses, that are maybe struggling to make ends meet. And I just ask this because I'm sure there's a lot of them that have so much fear about even going to our tribal entities or casinos because they think, well, I got a felony on my record. There ain't no doing good and trying to apply for that, where I just ask these questions to dispel some of those fears.
Yeah, if you could recommend them to speak to any one of our HR staff, they're more than willing to help out with that and point them in the right direction to help get them on their feet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Miss Gracie.
Away, away.
Away.
My name is Grace, and I'm part of the Elders Committee. I sent an email to Guy because I'm not quite sure how to communicate with people. Phone calls, and I know we're all very busy type of thing, but there were a couple of items that were mentioned at our Elders Committee when we met on Thursday. And I wanted to share that with not only a business committee, but with people who are perhaps listening. I would mention that in March at our meeting, and we meet usually the Thursday before BC meeting, but at that meeting, Bill Griffin did share with us the trip to Indiana, which was very good. We had a discussion at that meeting in March about the fact of, we were talking about the Quapaw ways. A suggestion was made at that meeting in March that perhaps if we looked at the old powwow books, there are all kinds of stories in there. And so with that in mind, I did send again an email to Guy, and I can go ahead and share it with you because he'll be sharing it with you as well. On Thursday, we went through years of powwow books and had a wonderful time seeing all the pictures. But more importantly, when we found items of interest for the people, we made copies. This is a legacy for now and the future. We are looking for things having to do with the Quapaw ways. If people will share their stories, we will collect them and at some future point make this information available. If we use the Quapaw newsletter, we can ask people to send their material to the committee care of the Quapaw office. This is just one of the topics that we discussed. The other one being that we are also thinking of the future of Tar Creek after EPA has finished their work and they're gone. So we have some thoughts there. But again, the Elders Committee, we've not been able to go on any trips because of COVID yet. So we're not asking for any money at this point. But to share with you some of our thoughts, again, our Quapaw ways, and getting some of that information together for all of us, all ages. It's important for us to have that. And that, again, is part of our legacy. We are interested in many things. And so there are people here who are part of the Elders Committee. But in a way, you're all part of the Elders Committee, whether you serve on that committee 65 plus in age, or if you're just interested. We'd love to hear. So when you were mentioning, for instance, like the survey that will be made available, input, that is something we would very much welcome. But this is some of the thoughts that are coming out of your Elders Committee. And again, we just wanted to share that with you and with anybody that's listening. So,
Renegade Grace for that update. And in terms of gathering and collecting and storing information, I'm all for that. I think every person on this body is for that, and anything that we can do to support those endeavors, we're on board for that. And we're going to be looking at ways to better maybe running interviews with our elders and having videos, information, that type, and being able to share it in a platform, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's a website or a Facebook. Those are all things that we're taking very seriously right now. And like you said, to better preserve our culture for generations to come. So thank you. Any other questions or concerns in open forum? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay. Well, if there are no further issues or items for discussion at this time, I'd like to drop down to Michelle to close us out in prayer.
Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day. We thank you, Lord, that we're able to come together to discuss and, Lord, any decisions that we're working on and betterment of our couple people. Lord, help us as leaders, help us as members, Lord, help us to work together and really tough for it, and I know that you know everything that's going on, and I just pray that you'll help us, guide us, direct us, lead us, everything that we say and do. I love you. And thank you. Lord, that you'll be with those, Lord, that are hurting. Physically and mentally, financially. Lord, I just pray that you'll help us together, Lord, come together and help those and keep them lifted up and all the many blessings that you've given us and trouble entities, trouble people and trouble entities, and we will work together. Lord, to make them better. Love you, and we thank you. All the many blessings.
Amen.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a second by Zach. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the meeting is adjourned. Gonna get.